Hello all, namaste. This video is about memory systems. Please give me a moment. I'm sharing my screen. So in the human memory chapter, the three memory systems is important. You can expect questions from this topic. So what are the three memory systems? So once you begin to study something or do any work, or even if you're sitting leisurely, there are a lot of stimulus coming from all directions, right? From all your sensory organs are registering all the different stimuli that you're bombarded with all the time. So sensory memory is the first entry point for incoming information. So whatever your sense organs are receiving, they convert it into a form that can be stored in your sensory memory. The next step is, if you have paid attention to any of the stimulus, then that enters short-term memory. This short-term memory is a temporary holding and processing stage, and if you have rehearsed or revised your lessons properly, then it enters your long-term memory, which is a permanent storage for whatever you have learned through knowledge or experience. So each of these systems have their own features and functions, but they work together to process sensory inputs into information that needs to be remembered. So the first thing that happens is sensory memory, which is the gateway for all your information. Here, the duration is less than 1 second, and capacity is very large because it registers all sensory input. That is, for example, now I am teaching. You may be hearing other sounds like traffic sounds. If you have your AC or your fan on, that sound. If somebody is passing by, you have that visual memory or visual stimulus. When somebody is turning pages, the sound of pages turning, or the smell of your pages, the book. So all this at once is bombarding your sense organs, and hence the sensory memory has very large capacity, but it retains information only for 1 second or less than 1 second. And what it does, it registers exact replicas of stimuli from all senses. I will be discussing more about this in class, but basically all the visual stimuli, the auditory stimuli, other kind of stimuli, from the example what I just quoted now. So the sensory memory registers replicas of all these stimuli, and only the attended information proceeds to short-term memory. Only if you have paid attention to a particular stimulus, that enters your short-term memory. If you're paying attention to what I'm teaching, this information will enter to your short-term memory. What does the short-term memory do? What are its features and functions? It has limited capacity. It holds small amount of information for a short period of time, which is less than 30 seconds. And if you have rehearsed it, there are two types of rehearsal. I'll tell you about it. If you have rehearsed, meaning if you have revised, then it will be pushed to the long-term memory. The two types of rehearsal is maintenance and elaborative. Maintenance, what most of you do, is Rattamaro, rote learning. You are not understanding what the material or the content is about. You're just memorizing it without understanding it deeply. So it is repetition. Constant repetition, those are the keywords. Constant repetition of the material will lead to maintenance rehearsal. And this is stored in the long-term memory for only some time. Whereas elaborate rehearsal is detailed processing by understanding the material and forming connection with your previously learned information. You are not only understanding the material, you are trying to make association with whatever new information you have gathered with the old information that you have already learned. So with your revisions, whatever you have learned will be pushed to the long-term memory so that it can be stored for a very long time. So this is a permanent store. And what is a retention? It is never forgotten once you have encoded it properly. And it has unlimited storage capacity. So information enters through elaborative rehearsal. And it is encoded semantically, meaning it is based on understanding the material. So this permanent storehouse will retain all your learned information for an unlimited period of time. So when we study about human memory, I will be telling you in class how to put this to use, how to make use of whatever stimulus that you have and convert it into your echoic or iconic memory using your sensory in memory, and how to pay attention. Only then it is processed into in your short-term memory. And in short-term memory, what do you have to do? You have to revise. What are the different revision techniques? It is boring for you to read the same topic again and again. So what to do? I will tell you about how to revise each time in a different way using different methods so that it is encoded semantically. You're making associations and you are understanding the subject well. So then it is definitely pushed into your long-term memory and it will remain there forever. If you are not able to remember even after all this, that is because of lack of retrieval cues or inappropriate retrieval cues, which again I will be teaching you for all the subjects, for all the topics, how to use retrieval cues, right? So then it will be easier for you in the exam to recall. And I will also be telling you about different control processes which monitor information flow through memory stores, all these memory stores. How does information flow exactly from sensory memory to short-term memory to long-term memory? Once you understand that, why is it important? Because if you understand that, you will know how to use your memory to get better marks in your exam. So this determines these control processes determine what moves forward and what fades away and why you forget. So there are some questions asked in the NIOS previous years. Simple ones, if you remember the term and remember keywords for each term, it's easier for you to answer. One of the questions for 1 mark was in the May 2025 question paper. Roger has not understood the meaning of the lyrics of a song, but mere repetition of the song has helped him to remember it well. So mere repetition is the key words. It is maintenance rehearsal. And in October 2024, true or false, elaborative rehearsal, which involves making meaningful connections to information, is generally more effective for long-term memory than simple repetition or maintenance rehearsal, which is true. Because if you are trying to understand the material and making connection of new information to old information, it is very effective and it is definitely pushed to the long-term memory. That is what elaborative rehearsal is all about. Yes, that was the question in October 2024 for this topic. So thank you all so much. Until the next video. Bye-bye.